All right, Pisces. So it looks like some of you are just needing to stick to what you have set before yourself right now. And it may be that you're seeking some counsel here, somebody who's experienced what you've been through, but you need to pay attention to that wisdom that's coming through, right? So from Lay Vampire, discipline, training, consistency, and practice, and wisdom from Chakra Wisdom. Wisdom talks about having sought out wise counsel only to ignore it. So it may be that you need to seek out somebody that's had some experience with what you're dealing with. And looking at discipline, what you're dealing with here is struggling on needing to stay on track. The big thing with this is sticking to commitments, sticking to what you have planned to do, laying down those plans for structure and following through on that, right? And not giving up. And I'm not seeing that you are here, but it's like there's the struggle with it. All right, Pisces. Here's your overall for the week, the Queen of Pentacles. I think some of you are focused on career right now, security and stability, providing, because that's what I get from her. It's not about success or maintaining success. It's using what you have to, make things comfortable, not just for you, but for family though too. Especially if you're the mother figure here. For males, it may be that you're focused on a female here that's really like paying attention to her career. But as the overall here, I feel like it's your responsibility right now to create comfort, no matter who you're dealing with. In the past, the Eight of Pentacles, this for me is like, it's not about getting rich. It's about being comfortable. It's about having financial backing. So with the Eight of Pentacles as the past coming through, we could talk about, or we could be talking about, my God, if I could talk right, a work situation. This to me shows that you've busted your ass to get to where you're at right now. But there's a lot of hard work involved. A lot of attention to detail here, because I see focus, like I see a lot of focus. But then, overall, I see you happy with where you're at. In the present, the Seven of Wands. But why though? The Seven of Wands, why is it that there is a need to defend yourself in your position, at work for some of you? I look at that and I'm like, oh man, it kind of reminds me of like a cutthroat work situation where it's like once you get on top, it's like you have to hold that position, right? And that is the Seven of Wands. And it may just be that you're setting boundaries with people though too, because you've worked hard. You've worked hard for where you're at. And then not only that, but I look at the Eight of Pentacles and think of somebody who knows what they're doing, Oh boy. Future conditions. The Five of Wands. So yeah, this could definitely be about competition at work, that, or with the Queen of Pentacles being the overall here, you're responsible for other people and needing to kind of keep them in line, so to speak, especially if there's fighting going on in work. You may be the manager, right? But I look at that in future conditions and think, how is that going to affect your ability to create that comfort and financial stability for yourself and your family? Because that to me is where your focus is at with the Queen of Pentacles. Needing to be comfortable here, but then, dealing with people that are fighting with you, and now I can kind of understand where discipline is coming through. I wouldn't want to deal with that. I'd probably just, I ain't dealing with that. I'm out, Oh, your best path to follow, the Eight of Swords. Don't keep yourself stuck in a way of thinking, because that could be creating, this conflict here with the Five of Wands. And I do think that for some of you, this is going to have to do with the work situation. The Eight of Swords, to me, when you look at it as advice, it's saying that there is a way through. You have to see it, though. And you also have to see that you are trapping yourself, right? But as far as communicating with people that you're working with, be careful about being stuck with a certain way of thinking, because otherwise the tug of war will never end, But then do you feel like you're stuck in a work situation that you don't want to be involved with anymore, right? Oh, in your environment, the Nine of Swords. Now, You know, and here's, again, what I'm talking about when it comes to wisdom, right? I look at that owl and think you're allowing those swords to push that down. But the thing is I look at that and I think of fear, you know, right off the bat. And that fear is like driving you to feel like you need to, you know, speak up, defend yourself, defend your choices, your position here. But, you know, where are these thoughts coming from, though? You know, is it because of the people that are around you, people that you're dealing with, people who are opposing you? You know, are you fearing the worst case scenario here? You know, just don't let your thoughts get ahead of you, you know, and don't stay stuck with that kind of thinking. Wow, Pisces. Yeah, your hopes and your fears strength. And I look at discipline and think, yeah, it's just needing to have the inner strength to continue doing this kind of work, you know. And discipline, just stick to it, right? You need to tap into that inner reserve. But can you? You know, and then the other thing would be fearing that things kind of get out of control, you know, because I would be pissed, you know, but for you, it's like, you know, I have to focus on me. I have to focus on what is right for me. And then not only that, but for those of you who have family, it's, you know, needing to focus on what's right for me and my family, right? Even though this may not be what you want to do anymore, unfortunately. But then again, I look at the Eight of Swords and think, you don't need to stay with this. You don't need to stay stuck with this. You know, that's certainly not fair to you. And then coming out, the Page of Swords. Ooh, buddy. What is it with the people that you guys are dealing with? I'm telling you, know, they clearly do not understand you at all. Looking at the Page of Swords coming out, I don't think that this is a need for, you know, information here. I think that information may be being used against you. And that may be what you're struggling against here. Or people don't have their facts right. And then the Two of Cups. So yeah, if we're talking about a business partnership here with the Page of Swords, you're definitely not seeing eye to eye. I think you have at one time. But with the way that this is going, it's not good because of misinformation with that Page of Swords for sure. The Three of Swords, right? And looking at the Eight of Pentacles, being heartbroken over the fact that you've worked your ass off only to be put in this position where you feel like, you know, you are needing to defend yourself here, defend your position. But then on top of that, you know, with the Ten of Wands, right, taking on way too much responsibility. You know, having the weight of everything on you, not having any assistance or not having any help. And then, you know, with the Two of Cups clearly here, there's not a whole lot of connection happening. There's not a whole lot of seeing eye to eye with somebody. It's like you need to agree to disagree is what I feel like here. You know, especially if we're talking about, you know, a work situation here where there is extreme misinformation, with the Five of Wands being directly connected to that Page of Swords. And I think maybe some of you are trying to set the record straight. Now, let's say, for instance, here we're talking about a relationship. With the Queen of Pentacles, definitely insecurity comes up with her, especially with the Nine of Swords, feeling insecure about what's happening, especially if you put a lot of effort into something that just broke your heart, right? Or someone. With the Seven of Wands and looking at the Ten of Wands, this is speaking up about the fact that, you know, you can't deal with this anymore. It's weighing on you, right? It's like keeping you up at night. There's fear and anxiety. But there's still, you know, this miscommunication going on, petty fighting, and it's because of misinformation, and it's causing, you know, the strain in the relationship, right? But I think that for some of you, it is going to have to do with a work situation. And again, right, like, do you have the strength to continue this? Do you have that inner strength and that inner resolve to, you know, push forward on this? So, resilience. You can bounce back from any situation, which is perfect. But that resilience is showing you that there are other possibilities. But the only way that you're going to be able to make the most of those possibilities is if you reconnect with spirit. It's always good advice, right? Especially when you're dealing with, you know, things on the material. You know, I always say that we walk a fine line, right? You're in the meat suit. You might as well enjoy what, you know, material satisfaction you can get from being here, but then you can't negate the spiritual, right? So we constantly have to balance this out. So for you, it's time. It's time to take a moment to just reconnect with your own spirit here and understand that, you know, there are other possibilities for you because of you feeling like you're stuck. And then treasure your loved ones. It's important to love others deeply. So basically what this is saying when it comes to relationships, you know, if you have somebody in your life that you treasure, right, that you have feelings for, you know, look at how committed you are before you even get involved here. But, you know, remember though that when you have somebody that comes through that loves you the same way that you love them, you know, you don't want to go into this and not be, you know, fully into it, fully committed. You know, it has the feeling of somebody else wanting to commit to you, but then you not really being sure. But then at the same time, you need to make sure that you treasure those people who do love you, appreciate you, right? Especially if they love you the same way that you love them. I just think that some of you may not be fully committed right now, right? You know, but for others of you with treasure your loved ones, it's just a reminder that with all the bullshit that you may have going on here, right, to love those people that are in your life. And then, you know, I go back to discipline and think, you know, if you have laid down a plan to do this, there's definitely a need to commit, right? But I would say more so than anything, looking at this, just be careful about the misinformation that is causing arguments. Because, you know, for you, this could really hurt a personal relationship, a romantic relationship, or a work relationship, right? And don't let, you know, negative thoughts get control here when that wisdom is what needs to come through.